So the question is this. It says, I have traditionally kept my expenses separate by using a personal credit card for expenses and then transferring money from my business account to myself. However, I've not been 100% vigilant in using the card only for business. I will do so moving forward. Is it possible to do accurate accounting with QuickBooks having it set up like this? I have a lot of transactions to navigate and want to know for sure before I invest time in the process. It seems okay, but wanted to check. Hope this makes sense. So this question, you guys, I get all the time. And I get it a lot with my sole props and my single member LLCs. And what she's asking, what this person's asking is, hey, you know, she has a separate business checking account, which if you don't, you know, that's my first rule. Okay. First rule, get a separate business checking account. And you want to keep your personal and business separate. Okay. And she's saying here, she's like, I didn't do a very good job of that. And that happens. Okay. We, especially in the beginning, it's creating new good habits of carrying around your business card and your personal debit card, you know, and making sure that when you go to the store and you're buying your business and your personal stuff, you do use it in 2 different transactions and you use the appropriate payment method, right? But those are skills that take time. They're habits that take time to get good, right? It takes time to get good at those things. So it's going to happen where you intermingle. Your goal is by the, you know, when you create habits to where it's every once in a while. Every once in a while, it's just like, oh man, I forgot my business credit card or I forgot my personal credit card, you know, those, because when you keep them far and few between, a lot easier to deal with. But a lot of clients that come to us new, either because they're a new business or maybe they're not necessarily a new business, but they just didn't have the proper accounting methods in place. They come to us and we have so many people who have one credit card and they use it for business and personal. The first thing we're going to tell you is stop doing that. Okay. But what do you do when you've already done it? Right. And so let's assume, like for this person, so let's say this person it's August of 2020. And up to this point, for the last 8 months, they've been using one credit card for all their business and personal expenses. So she's asking, does it work with QuickBooks? And here's what I'm going to tell you. There is no solution to separating business and personal expenses when you've intermingled them that isn't going to be time consuming, because you really have like 2 options at this point. So if you're using QuickBooks, okay, if you're using QuickBooks and you're importing all of your credit card transactions into QuickBooks, then you still have to go through every transaction, and all the personal ones you have to account or you have to assign to your owner draw account. Okay. So even if you're a Schedule C and you don't necessarily prepare a balance sheet, you still have balance sheet accounts that you have to deal with, because you can't let those non-business expenses hit your P&L. Depends on how many transactions you have, right? If you have 100 transactions a month and 90 of them are personal, then it's going to take you a lot of time to go through all those extra transactions that aren't business transactions, right? So this is why, you know, we tell you to keep them separate. But let's say it's, you know, so in that instance, if you look at your credit card statement and you're just like, wow, I really only use my business, you know, I only use this credit card like 10, 20 times for business expenses a month, I would say it's probably easier to not integrate that credit card with your QuickBooks file. And I would instead just enter a journal entry as a owner contribution. That's what your credit's going to be. And then debit all of the expenses. All right. And this is a little, this is where a great bookkeeper comes in handy, or even a one-time like cleanup bookkeeper is fantastic to help with this kind of stuff. I highly recommend you guys find someone that if you're like, okay, I just now am clean, you know, I'm finally cleaned up and I'm doing things right, but I have all this cleanup stuff from behind that I need to get caught up on. I would pay the money to have someone professionally do that for you guys. We don't do it, but I have a few recommendations if you need them of my team, my associates that do.